Despite the prolonged overnight rain, it was a new day filled with renewed motivation ahead of day 3 of the NOCO 6 days, because after 2 days on the same transfers and special tests, the riders were finally headed for new terrain. With the circuit for day 3 pulled before the start of the week due to the weather, today's stage will utilise day 4 circuit, heading south to the Motul cross test and Aero enduro test before heading back to Salida for the final cross test. 2 laps of 121 kilometres for the riders to cover today. In the World Trophy class, so far France have been nothing but consistent, and that consistency continues to reward the French quartet again on day 3. And after starting the day with more than a 4-minute advantage over Spain as we head into the second half of the competition, their lead has been extended to more than 7 minutes. Steve Holcomb and Josep Garcia picked up where they left off from day 2, but it was the Spaniard who gained an immediate advantage over his rival after the Brit fell in cross test 2 on the opening lap, losing 11 seconds. That gap would be more by the end of the day. Jean Bertrieux provided ample backup for Garcia, but overall Spain lost ground to the Americans on day 3. Team USA were hoping that day 3 would be a turning point after losing second in the overall standings to Spain on day 2. And it was. Fresh eyes and fresh trails made the difference, and with all 4 riders beating 3 of the Spanish team today, the USA has pulled the gap back to Spain to 8 seconds. Eighth on day 1 and 11th on day 2, John T. Reinders is clearly enjoying his time here in Galicia, even setting the 3rd fastest time in the final cross test on day 2. So far, he is impressed on his 6 days debut, and with another solid ride on day 3, is doing his best to keep Australia in the hunt for a medal.
Struggled a little bit today, just with the wet conditions, just made a few mistakes and found herself on the ground a little bit, but I think the rest of the Team Australia went pretty well as well, so yeah, hopefully, haven't seen results yet, but hopefully we've had a pretty good day.
2 stories at the end of day 3 are that France extend their lead at the top of the standings as the USA close back in on Spain. Day 4 cannot come soon enough for the Stars and Stripes. Another consistent day for Sweden as Axel Sem, Max Arlin and Albin Norbin continue to push on in the Junior World Trophy class. And heading into day 3, the Swedes were gaining in confidence. By the end of the day's action, the trio had gained almost 40 seconds over their closest rivals, France.
Well, so far it's been good for the team. I've just been struggling a bit myself with the ground, especially the first 2 days. Maybe find a better flow today, but too many mistakes and things like this that have been putting me down today, so frustrating day for me.
Despite losing ground on the leaders, France is still in a strong 2nd position overall. Their gap over the Americans now out to almost 6 minutes. Leo Joyon placed 9th on the day in class as both of his teammates took 3rd and 6th. It's been a tough couple of days so far in this year's NOCO 6 days, particularly for Team USA. Crashes, jet lag, lack of sleep, inadequate body refueling, all contributing to the overall effort. Despite those issues though, Matteo Oliveira, Grant Davis and Jason Tino dug real deep today to keep the Australians at bay to the tune of about a minute in the overall standings.
My day was tough again. I was over the bars in a tree at one point. I think I lost like a minute and a half in the second test, but my teammates smashed it again, so let's just keep on pushing these last 2 days of true enduro and then the final moto.
Sweden extend their lead over France on day 3, but the fight heading into day 4 is for the final step of the podium between the USA and Australia. As we hit the halfway stage of the NOCO 6 days, Team USA's Brandy Richards seemed to find another gear today as she won the women's class for the third day in a row. Today she won by 54 seconds, but Rachel Guttish finished 8th on the day, and collectively the team extended its lead over Australia. Danielle McDonald might be the youngest member of the team, but the 17-year-old Australian is built of strong stuff. Hampered by a leg injury, the 306 has played a real team player's role on her second 6 days appearance, and her efforts are rewarding for both her and the team as they continue to strengthen their grip on second in the overall standings. Despite the odd mistake, Emily Karlsson ensured the trio of Swedish riders stuck together and pulled together as one on day 3. The Swedes started the day 3rd overall, almost 10 minutes clear of France, and as we head to day 4, they are still comfortably placed in 3rd. Italy's Francesco Nacera has been to hell and back prior to riding her first NOCO 6 days, but despite missing a fair amount of time on the bike leading in due to a succession of injuries, the Italian placed 5th on day 2 and 9th overall today. Italy 6th in the overall classification.
Yeah, it's been a really hard day for me, but anyway, I'm happy how I rode in the first part of the race. Then I get a bit tired and start to crash a lot of times, but I managed to finish the day, and looking forward for the next days. The team, I don't know actually which place we finished today, but I'm really proud of the girls for finish the day, and it's really not easy.
No changes in the overall standings in the Women's World Trophy class after day 3, and as we enter the second half of the NOCO 6 days, things are looking good for Team USA.